What if the dream world wasn't just a byproduct of sleep, but a gateway, a literal bridge between your conscious self and the vast unseen layers of the universe? What if your moments of rest held the keys to unlocking hidden powers, profound insights, and even out-of-body experiences that could transform how you live, think, and perceive reality? This is not science fiction. It is the ancient and evolving art of lucid dreaming and astral projection. And today, we're diving deep into both practices, not just what they are, but how to awaken these abilities within yourself, step by step, starting tonight. Lucid dreaming, the ability to become consciously aware within a dream, is often treated like a party trick or a form of nighttime entertainment. But in truth, it's much more than that. It is the first layer of awareness, the training ground where your mind learns to operate consciously in altered states. Think of lucid dreaming as the classroom and astral projection as the fieldwork. Both require discipline, intention, and practice. And when used together, they become a powerful tool for personal growth, healing, spiritual exploration, and direct access to what some call universal wisdom. Let's start with lucid dreaming, where most people begin their journey. A lucid dream occurs when you're dreaming and suddenly realize, I'm dreaming. In that moment, the dream world no longer controls you. You can fly, manifest people, ask questions, visit memories, or just observe with clarity. But why does that matter? Because in a lucid dream, your subconscious mind becomes a malleable space, and that gives you an opportunity to communicate directly with your deeper self. Stephen LaBerge, one of the pioneers of lucid dreaming research, developed practical techniques to help people enter these states intentionally. One of the most effective is the mild technique, mnemonic induction of lucid dreams. It's a method where you tell yourself repeatedly before falling asleep, "Tonight I will realize I'm dreaming." By planting that intention into your subconscious, you increase the chance of becoming lucid. Another powerful method is reality testing, checking your environment throughout the day by asking, "Am I dreaming?" and looking for inconsistencies. With enough repetition, this habit seeps into your dream life, triggering lucidity when something odd happens, like floating, missing doors, or melting clocks. But becoming lucid is just the beginning. To stay lucid, you need stability. Many people wake up as soon as they realize they're dreaming. Why? Because the emotional spike, excitement, fear, confusion, destabilizes the dream. That's why dream stabilization techniques are crucial. Robert Bruce recommends grounding yourself by rubbing your hands together, spinning in place, or touching objects in the dream to increase sensory input. These actions help lock your consciousness into the experience, extending your time inside the dream realm. Now here's where the bridge begins to form. Lucid dreaming is like riding the waves of your subconscious. Astral projection, or the out-of-body experience, takes you deeper. It is the art of shifting your awareness outside of your physical body into what many describe as the real-time zone, a dimension just slightly out of phase with our waking world. Unlike lucid dreaming, where the content is mostly generated by your own mind, astral projection places your consciousness into a shared energetic space, a layer of reality that's still within reach of the physical world, but not bound by it. According to Robert Bruce in Astral Dynamics, there is a crucial difference between dream-induced experiences and conscious astral projection. Lucid dreams start in sleep, often within REM cycles, and become conscious. Astral projection, by contrast, usually starts from a waking or trance-like state. You maintain full conscious awareness as you disconnect from the physical body and shift into the astral or etheric body, your subtle energetic counterpart. This separation requires a very specific internal condition. The mind must be awake while the body is deeply relaxed, to the point of paralysis. This is known as the mind-awake, body-asleep state, and achieving it is perhaps the most important and challenging aspect of the entire process. To reach it, you must practice progressive relaxation, breath awareness, and sensory detachment. Robert Bruce's method of full-body awareness is a master key here. It involves mentally sweeping your awareness up and down through your body in slow rhythmic motions, training your energy body to activate while your physical body remains still. Eventually, this deep trance triggers the vibrational state, a hallmark of near-exit experiences. People report buzzing, humming, or electrical sensations moving through their bodies. Rather than panicking, Bruce recommends you remain calm, deepen the vibrations, and then use a visualized movement technique like rope pulling, where you imagine climbing an invisible rope above your head to shift your awareness out of your body. This exit technique is not metaphorical. It's deeply tied to how your mind interfaces with the energy body, and using tactile imagery is far more effective than passive visualization. Let's pause here. If you've never experienced anything like this, it might sound strange, even unbelievable. But thousands of people, mystics, monks, modern researchers, have documented these experiences across cultures, religions, and eras. From ancient Tibetan dream yoga to the Egyptian Book of the Dead to modern astral explorers, the theme is consistent. Consciousness is not confined to the physical body, and you can learn to move beyond it. Lucid dreaming is often the training ground, a safer, softer space to prepare your consciousness. Think of it as your spiritual gym. By developing self-awareness in your dreams, you're strengthening the same mental muscles required for astral projection: focus, intention, memory, and energy control. What's fascinating is how the two practices begin to converge. Some people start a lucid dream and then transition into an astral projection by laying down inside the dream or mentally initiating the vibrational state. Others begin with astral projection but stabilize it using lucid dreaming techniques, like engaging the senses or calling out for guidance. In both cases, the goal is to explore consciousness without limitation, and to return with insights that enrich your waking life. But what's the point? Why spend so much time learning to dream consciously or leave your body? The answer is different for everyone. Some seek adventure, to fly, visit alien worlds, or walk through ancient cities. Others seek healing, to confront past trauma, meet guides, or understand their life path. And some are drawn to the mystery itself, to explore the nature of reality, death, and existence. Robert Bruce emphasizes that these practices aren't just spiritual curiosities, they're tools for growth. Consciousness expansion changes how you experience suffering, success, relationships, and even fear. It gives you a broader view, a cosmic perspective on the brief, beautiful chaos of human life. Imagine standing outside your body, looking down at your sleeping self. Imagine feeling your mind stretch beyond walls, beyond limits. The first time this happens, it's not fear that overwhelms you, it's awe. And here's the deeper truth. You don't have to master these practices overnight. The journey itself is the transformation. Every attempt builds awareness. Every dream journal entry trains memory. Every failed projection strengthens your mental discipline. You're cultivating inner stillness, radical self-awareness, and energetic control. Qualities that shape not just your nighttime experiences, but your entire way of being. As you deepen your practice, something remarkable begins to happen. Your waking life becomes more lucid. You notice patterns in your behavior, emotions, and decisions. You begin to act with intention instead of reaction. Meditation improves, sleep becomes sacred, and fear, especially fear of death, begins to lose its grip. Because once you've left your body and returned, you no longer wonder if you are more than your flesh. You know it. And that knowledge, that direct personal experience, changes everything. Now, as we cross the threshold from theory into deeper practice, one of the most vital elements to understand is energy work. According to Robert Bruce, energy body stimulation is not just a mystical concept, it's a functional skill. It's the fuel that powers our ability to separate consciousness from the physical body. Without it, your astral body remains sluggish, heavy, and tethered too tightly to your flesh. Bruce's methods of tactile imaging, moving awareness through different parts of your body, are foundational for building sensitivity to your energy body. Start with simple brushing or sponging motions with your awareness over your hands and feet. At first, it might feel like you're pretending, but over time you will start to feel tingling, warmth, or subtle movement. That's not your imagination, it's the awakening of a dormant sensory system. Think of your energy body like a muscle group you've never worked out before. You must exercise it gently but consistently. As you progress, this energetic stimulation becomes a bridge, allowing for deeper trance states and more efficient separation. Lucid dreamers can use this same method to prime the body before sleep. Instead of entering dreams passively, you enter sleep with your awareness charged and your energy system humming. This vastly increases the chances of becoming aware within the dream or even launching directly into an out-of-body experience from a meditative state. Now let's touch on the trance state, another cornerstone in Bruce's system. You might have heard about the hypnagogic state, that dreamy borderland between wakefulness and sleep. It's where your mind begins to wander, images flash, and thoughts blur into dreamlike fragments. This state is the golden key, but the mistake most people make is falling asleep. The challenge is learning how to hover there, to relax the body completely while keeping the mind slightly alert. Bruce calls this the mind-awake, body-asleep condition. Lucid dreaming researchers refer to it as wake-induced lucid dreaming, WILD. Meditation traditions call it one-pointed awareness. They're all describing the same place, the launch pad into other realms. Reaching this state reliably requires patience, consistency, and a surrender to subtlety. You won't get there by brute force. It requires a kind of listening, not to sound, but to the inner environment of your own consciousness. At this stage, sleep paralysis may occur. Don't panic. This is actually a sign that you're close. If you remain calm, sensations like floating, vibrations, or sounds may arise. These are not hallucinations, they're symptoms of separation. Here's where things get interesting. As you approach separation, you'll begin to feel dual sensations: the heaviness of your physical body and the lightness of your subtle body. Robert Bruce suggests using imagined motion to trigger the split. For example, gently imagine rocking back and forth, rolling out of bed, or floating upward. This creates a resonant pull between the two bodies, and with practice, they will snap apart. You'll find yourself standing beside your physical body, but fully conscious, a moment both eerie and exhilarating. Now let's connect this with what lucid dreamers experience. In many lucid dreams, a similar split occurs, but it happens within the dreamscape itself. You're already out of body, but the environment feels symbolic, emotional, or surreal. However, advanced lucid dreamers can stabilize the environment to explore deeper layers of consciousness, and even use lucid dreams as a doorway to full astral projection. In fact, the two practices are more intertwined than most people realize. A vivid lucid dream, especially one triggered with awareness and intention, can become an astral projection if you guide your consciousness toward higher frequencies of clarity and intent. Let's talk about navigating non-physical environments. One of the most powerful teachings from Astral Dynamics is that your thoughts shape your reality instantly in the astral world. If you think of a place, you go there. If you doubt your surroundings, they destabilize. This is echoed in Stephen LaBerge's lucid dream research, where dreamers learn that belief and focus are the tools of navigation. In both states, clarity, emotion, and intention are your compass. Robert Bruce introduces the idea of a real time zone, a dimension closely overlaid upon the physical world. It's like the astral version of your bedroom, your city, your house. This is often where beginners end up during their first few projections, in familiar territory. But there's more. As you gain skill, you can move into higher astral levels, which become more symbolic, abstract, and sometimes even divine. Beelzebub describes these upper realms as radiant, peaceful, and inhabited by intelligent beings that feel ancient and loving. These aren't just dreams. They're something else, perhaps what mystics across all traditions have tried to describe. Now, one of the most underrated skills in both lucid dreaming and astral projection is recall. What good is traveling the stars if you forget everything upon waking? Journaling immediately after your experiences, even if it's just a few scribbled sentences, anchors the memory. Over time, this also trains your subconscious to prioritize dream recall. You'll begin to remember more, dream more vividly, and retain your astral journeys. Many practitioners report that this journaling becomes a sacred ritual, a map of their inner evolution. Let's turn now to purpose. Why are we doing this? Why seek lucidity or projection or contact with subtle realms? For entertainment, curiosity, these are valid entry points. But if you look deeper, you'll find that most sincere practitioners are chasing something more, a direct experience of truth. a reunion with lost parts of themselves, a message from something greater. Lucid dreaming and astral projection open the doorway to wisdom beyond the intellect. Carl Jung touched on this when he described dreams as messengers of the unconscious, filled with archetypes, warnings, and insights. Lucid dreaming gives you the power to interact with those messengers consciously. Robert Bruce takes it further. He suggests that the astral realm is a training ground for the soul, a space where you can learn lessons, explore past lives, meet guides, and prepare for death itself. This is echoed by many near-death experiencers who describe realms of light, learning, and love. In a world drowning in distraction and superficiality, the ability to dive into these sacred inner worlds is revolutionary. But here's the truth. These experiences are not for the lazy or the flaky. They demand discipline, courage, and a deep respect for the mystery. There will be nights where nothing happens, dreams that feel meaningless, experiences that scare you. But keep going. This path, like any true spiritual path, is walked step by step, breath by breath, night by night. And with time, it rewards you with something few ever touch, a direct communion with the invisible essence of reality. As your practice deepens, another principle begins to emerge: the importance of emotional mastery during your non-physical journeys. The astral environment is incredibly responsive, not just to your thoughts, but to your emotions. A moment of fear can summon shadows. A spark of awe can open gateways to breathtaking beauty. This isn't just metaphysical poetry, it's observable truth in these states. Robert Bruce emphasizes that fear is often the #1 barrier to progress. When fear arises, your projection can collapse, or worse, manifest unpleasant entities that reflect your internal chaos. But here's the insight: these aren't external threats. They are energetic mirrors, born from your own subconscious. Just as in lucid dreams, emotional regulation becomes your superpower. If you remain calm, curious, and grounded in your intention, these energetic fluctuations subside. Fear dissolves, and the dream or astral plane reconfigures to a higher clarity. This teaches you an invaluable truth. Your internal state determines the quality of your experiences, not just in dreams or projections, but in waking life as well. In this way, astral practice becomes a profound training ground for real-life emotional intelligence. You learn to pause before reacting, to observe without judgment, and to respond from wisdom instead of instinct. That's not just dream work, that's deep spiritual transformation. Let's now explore entities and guides, another realm that often ignites curiosity or skepticism. Many astral travelers report encountering beings of light, wisdom, or even guardians who assist them in their journey. Bruce refers to these as helpers, and he cautions that discernment is key. Not every entity is benevolent, and not every vision is literal truth. However, there is a recurring theme across traditions, from shamans to mystics to modern lucid dreamers, of encountering intelligence far beyond the personal mind. These encounters often leave the experiencer changed, emotionally moved, or flooded with insight. If you choose to seek contact with such guides, the key is clarity of intention. Don't approach them with demands or childish curiosity. Approach them with respect, openness, and the willingness to receive guidance, not entertainment. You can simply ask, "Is there something I need to learn?" and then observe what unfolds. Often the answers come not as speech, but as symbols, feelings, or sudden clarity that blooms in the mind. Journal these encounters. Reflect on them. You may find they plant seeds that blossom weeks or months later. Now, no discussion of lucid dreaming and astral travel would be complete without addressing the myth of danger. Popular culture has filled the collective imagination with fears of getting stuck out of body, attacked by entities, or never waking up. But here's the truth. You are always connected to your physical body by what Bruce calls the silver cord, an energetic tether that ensures your safe return. No credible evidence suggests that you can get lost or harmed in any permanent way. The real dangers are psychological, over-attachment, escapism, or delusion. But these dangers exist in daily life too. As long as you maintain grounding practices and a healthy connection to your physical life, these explorations will enrich you, not confuse you. So, how do you stay grounded? Bruce suggests regular energy work, eating grounding foods, spending time in nature, and engaging in service to others. If you ever feel disoriented, scattered, or overly dreamy, pause your practice. Focus on the physical world. Your soul came here for a reason, and astral experiences are meant to enhance your incarnation, not replace it. The highest wisdom always returns you to love, responsibility, and purpose here and now. One powerful way to integrate both lucid dreaming and astral projection into your daily life is by developing a nighttime ritual, a sacred container for your explorations. This could be as simple as dimming the lights, writing in your journal, performing a brief meditation, and setting an intention before sleep. Affirmations like, "I will remember my dreams," or "I will awaken within the dream," repeated with genuine emotion, begin to condition the subconscious. Over time, this becomes a kind of spiritual training. You become more lucid, not just at night, but during the day, more aware of your thoughts, more present in your relationships, more aligned with your inner truth. In many ways, lucid dreaming and astral projection are the modern mystic's tools for conscious evolution. You're no longer reading about truth, you're living it. You're diving into the architecture of your own consciousness. And once you do, you start to see life differently. You recognize that everything, every thought, emotion, and dream, is part of a vast inner tapestry that you are constantly weaving. Imagine waking up from a vivid dream where you met a wise teacher who said nothing but looked at you with such compassion that you burst into tears. Or floating above your city at night, watching the glowing web of human experience from a bird's eye view. Or visiting a temple made of light where you felt more at home than anywhere on earth. These are not fantasies. These are real experiences reported by people across the world, and they are available to you. But here's what separates those who glimpse these worlds from those who live in them: dedication. This path is not a hobby, it's a calling. It requires structure, effort, and above all, consistency. You will fail, you will forget. You will wake up groggy and discouraged, and then you will have a breakthrough. One night, everything clicks. You become aware, you lift from your body or realize you're dreaming, and the world opens. And in that moment, all the effort is worth it. So where do you go from here? First, continue developing your energy body daily, even for 5 to 10 minutes. Practice tactile imaging, stirring your subtle body into awareness. Second, meditate. Even a simple 10-minute breath meditation trains your mind to focus, a critical skill for staying lucid and intentional. Third, write everything down. Record your dreams. Note symbols, emotions, characters, and any signs of lucidity. This builds a personal language that your subconscious will begin to speak through. Fourth, set clear intentions every night. Don't just hope for lucidity, invite it. Speak to your deeper self, it's listening. And finally, remember, you are not doing this alone. Countless others, across time, cultures, and beliefs, have walked this path. The astral realm is a communal space. Whether you know it or not, you're already part of that community. As the veil lifts and you begin to explore these hidden dimensions, you'll discover something beautiful. The real journey was never about leaving your body, it was about coming home to your soul. In these lucid moments, whether in dreams or flights beyond the stars, you'll recognize something ancient and true, that you are vast, you are connected, and you are more than you ever imagined. So close your eyes, breathe deeply, and step into the unseen. The journey is just beginning. And as this journey unfolds further, a powerful shift begins to take place. You no longer see lucid dreaming or astral projection as exotic experiences, but as natural expressions of your multidimensional self. The separation between the waking world and the dream world becomes thinner, not in a way that makes you disoriented, but in a way that makes you more whole. You start to see waking life with the same symbolic richness you once only found in dreams. That bird outside your window, that oddly timed conversation, that intuition in your gut, they all begin to carry messages. It's as if the universe starts speaking to you in a language you finally understand. This is what the ancient sages meant when they said, "As above, so below, as within, so without." What you experience in the astral is not outside reality. It is a reflection, a magnification, a dramatization of your inner truth. And through it, you gain the most precious power of all, self-knowledge. Not the kind found in textbooks, but the kind that rises from the depths of your being, undeniable, transformational, and permanent. In Robert Bruce's framework, there's also a concept called the real-time zone, the subtle layer of reality closest to the physical plane. When you project here, everything looks similar to waking life, but slightly distorted. Lights may flicker, clocks may spin strangely. You might pass through walls or float instead of walk. This layer is often the first destination for beginners, and it can feel eerily familiar. But here's the insight. Just like in dreams, your perception influences this environment. The more fear or confusion you carry, the more distorted it becomes. But the more clarity and confidence you hold, the more stable it gets. Many practitioners use this zone to experiment, walking through their neighborhood, visiting loved ones, or practicing energy work in real time. And while some use it to confirm the reality of projection, perhaps seeing an object placed out of view beforehand, the deeper purpose is not verification, it is presence, learning to be fully aware, fully awake in every layer of existence. And then there are the deeper realms, high astral levels, where form begins to melt into energy, where cities of light shimmer across the void, where sound and thought become one. These are the territories described by mystics across cultures: the Tibetan Bardo states, the Sufi heavens, the Christian celestial spheres. Whether you interpret them as internal archetypes or literal dimensions, one truth remains: you are capable of accessing them. You don't need a guru. You don't need permission. You need only intention, humility, and practice. It's here that you may meet your higher self, a presence that feels more you than your personality ever could. This being is calm, ancient, and full of knowing. It may speak in silence. It may wrap you in light. And after such an encounter, life is never quite the same. Because once you've touched that level of your being, you can no longer pretend to be small. And yet, returning to the body, to bills, to emotions, to responsibilities, can feel jarring. This is why integration is vital. Don't chase the astral like a drug. Bring its wisdom into your waking life. Use it to become a kinder partner, a more conscious parent, a more courageous creator. The true measure of spiritual growth is not how many planes you visit, but how deeply you love when you return. As your practice matures, something else emerges: spontaneous projections. These often happen without warning, especially during moments of intense stillness, deep relaxation, or even trauma. You may suddenly feel vibrations, hear a roaring sound, or sense your body rocking. These are common precursors to separation. The key is to remain calm, do not resist, let go, float, and if fear arises, breathe through it. It's just the doorway creaking open. One practice Bruce recommends is rope technique, an imagined climbing of a rope above your body while staying completely physically still. This engages your non-physical will without stimulating your physical muscles. It's deceptively simple, but incredibly powerful. Over time, you begin to feel your awareness loosen, stretching beyond the body like mist. And then, you're out. Another overlooked key is sleep hygiene. Many people sabotage their efforts with poor sleep patterns, overexposure to screens, or erratic schedules. But if you treat your sleep as sacred, with rituals, consistent timing, and intention, your body becomes an ally instead of an obstacle. Your dream recall improves, your clarity deepens, your nightly practice becomes a sanctuary, and this is where the real magic happens. You start having lucid dreams within astral projections, or astral projections triggered by waking-induced lucidity. The boundaries blur. One night you're flying. The next you're exploring ancient temples. The next you're helping a lost soul cross into the light. The dream world becomes your classroom, your playground, your temple. And then, perhaps unexpectedly, you discover something else. A stillness, a quiet joy, the constant striving to escape the body fades, and you realize you were never trapped in the first place. The astral was always inside you. The dreams were never separate from your soul. Everything you sought was already here, waiting for you to look inward. It's at this stage you may feel called to teach, to share, or simply to live more consciously. You might inspire others. You might begin healing work, Or you might just smile more, knowing the vastness that pulses behind your eyes. So let's bring this full circle. Lucid dreaming and astral projection are not end goals. They are gateways. They open you to the deeper truth that you are more than a body, more than a name, more than a mind. You are a spark of awareness, endlessly expanding, and every night you are given a ticket to explore that infinity. Will you take it? Tonight, when you close your eyes, don't just fall asleep. Fall inward. Let the breath guide you. Let the silence speak. Invite your soul to dance beyond the stars, to wander the corridors of the unseen, to remember what it already knows. Because this is your birthright, and just when you think the journey can't go any deeper, you encounter something truly transformative: the void. Not darkness in the frightening sense, but a still, expansive nothingness. A place without form, without sound, without story. Some call it the blackness, the abyss, the womb of creation. In this state, you're no longer a traveler, you're being itself. There are no visions here, no symbols, no teachers, just pure awareness. This space can be unsettling at first. The ego recoils, desperate for shape and meaning. But if you stay with it, if you surrender to that vast quiet, a profound peace emerges. It's as if you've reached the center of everything and nothing at once. Time dissolves. Thought dissolves. And for a moment, you remember what it feels like to just exist. No roles, no pressure, no striving, only presence. This experience is not one you can force. It comes as grace. But the more you practice, the more receptive you become. Meditation, especially during hypnagogic states, becomes a bridge to this space. Breathwork, energy body awareness, and certain mantras can help you sink into it. But above all, it requires trust. Trust in your own consciousness, in the intelligence of the unseen. And here lies one of the most overlooked gifts of these practices: trust. You begin to trust yourself, not in the shallow motivational sense, but in a deep, unshakable way. You trust your instincts, your timing, your path. You stop outsourcing your truth. You begin living from your center. Because once you've seen the vastness within, the noise outside loses its grip. You also start to understand that fear, for all its power, is just a threshold guardian. It protects sacred doors. And once you face it, not with aggression, but with curiosity, it often melts. That shadow chasing you in a dream, that terrifying presence before a projection, it's usually a part of you distorted by repression. Face it, talk to it, embrace it, and watch it transform. In the works of Carl Jung, we find echoes of this truth. His idea of the shadow self, the parts of our psyche we disown or deny, often surfaces in dreams. And when we become lucid, we can engage with these parts directly. We can ask them why they exist, what they want, what they need, and through this dialogue, integration happens. You become more whole. The same applies to astral projection. Many fear encountering entities or dark energies. But remember, the astral is highly responsive to your internal state. If you radiate fear, you attract fearful forms. But if you project love, clarity, and calm, your experience reflects that. The astral is a mirror, and learning to navigate it teaches you to master your inner landscape. This is why daily life begins to change. You find yourself less reactive, more observant, more patient. Instead of being swept up in emotion, you witness it. Instead of overthinking every situation, you intuit the right response. This isn't detachment in the cold sense, it's freedom. You can feel deeply without drowning. You can care without clinging. And isn't that the heart of wisdom? As you continue exploring, you may start receiving messages, not in words, but in sudden insights, dreams, or synchronicities. You might hear a voice say something just before waking that answers a question you've held for weeks. You might dream of a symbol, then see it in waking life the next day. You might feel drawn to a book, a teacher, a path, as if guided by something beyond logic. Don't dismiss these moments. They're part of the subtle language of your expanded self. And the more you honor them, by journaling, meditating on them, or simply acknowledging them, the more frequent they become. Many practitioners develop what Robert Bruce calls energy-body sensitivity. This means you start to feel energy moving through your system, tingling in your spine, pulsing in your hands, warmth in your chest. These sensations aren't imagined, they're real. And you can cultivate them through techniques like tactile imaging, breath focus, or chakra work. As this awareness grows, you can use your energy body not just for projection, but for healing, insight, and spiritual growth. You may find old traumas rising to the surface, not to haunt you, but to be released. You might experience emotional detoxes. You might cry for no reason, feel waves of joy, or enter states of pure bliss. This is all part of the unfolding. And perhaps the most beautiful part of this journey is the humility it brings. The more you explore the inner worlds, the less you feel the need to prove anything. You stop chasing validation. You stop comparing paths. You realize that everyone is waking up in their own way, on their own time. There's no rush, no competition, just the gentle unfolding of awareness. You become more compassionate, not because someone told you to be, but because you see. You see how much pain people carry. You see how lost many are in their own minds, and you no longer judge, you offer presence. That is the mark of a true traveler. Not how many planes you visit, but how deeply you love when you return. So let this be your encouragement. Whether you're just starting to record your dreams or you've been projecting for years, your journey matters. Your questions matter. Your curiosity is sacred. Every small step, every journal entry, every failed attempt, every almost brings you closer. Closer to yourself, closer to truth. This path isn't linear. There will be plateaus. There will be nights where nothing happens. But stay with it. Keep the fire alive, because when the breakthrough comes, and it will be worth every effort. And remember, you are not alone. You are part of a quiet revolution. People all over the world are waking up, questioning the material dream, seeking something real, and by walking this path, you become a beacon. You light the way, not just for yourself, but for others who are still stumbling in the dark. So tonight, as you prepare for sleep, don't just collapse into unconsciousness. Pause, breathe, set an intention, and say to yourself, I am aware, I am ready, I am more than this body, I am a traveler of inner worlds, and with that, let the journey begin.